Live from the Talking Joe studios,
It's Talking Joe with Chief and Ben. Hey, it's the Chief. I'm joined by my buddy.
It's me, it's Ben.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm back in the swing of it. Really grabbing 2019 by the shackles.
That's it. Show it who's boss.
You sound
Headlock.
You sound a bit better.
Yes, I am annoyed now. I don't know if this is an inside Chief's mind or not, but when you got that illness and you just cannot shake that bastard, this is...
I know. Sometimes you think you're better, so you go and do something and then you stretch too far. That's
it. And then even walking down to the shops, that little biting bit of cold, you come back and then you're hacking it up, and that was a bad decision.
I know, I'm not great at resting and just sitting down and just, you know.
I'm a doer. I need to be doing.
Yeah. Well, you're doing something now. You're talking to Joe.
Yeah, that's it. That's the most important thing in my life.
Are you back at work then, obviously?
Back at work, but, you know, here and there. I had a day off yesterday.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah.
Are they giving you any guilt yet, or...?
Nah.
No
Stay at
guilt.
home, get well. That's the general motto.
Because basically, you know, I used to have a job in an office situation, and you know, when someone's sick, it's like, oh, for crying out loud, because it's more work.
Yeah, your natural assumption is this
Anger.
guy's taking the piss. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, poor guy, rest up, get better.
Yeah.
It's like, get back in.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I have done this week. I watched a couple of things.
Ooh.
I watched the first episode. This is unusual for me because I generally don't watch TV series.
No, can't stand it.
I watched the first episode of that Netflix thing, Titans. The DC thing.
Never seen it.
Absolute stinker.
Oh, God.
I mean, I don't watch any of those.
What is it? Titans.
It's called Titans. I don't watch like Arrow or Flash or any of those kind of shows. You know me. I even struggle with the Marvel stuff. When obviously Daredevil's very highly rated, but Titans, it's like Robin and Starfire and Changeling. It's characters you never heard of outside of Robin.
Live action.
Yeah.
Well, so that's not a C. I wonder why that's not a sort of in the CW universe.
It's quite graphic. There's some F-bombs dropped in there by Robin.
Oh, wow.
F-Batman is one of them.
Right. Oh, is it a bit tongue-in-cheek?
It's played straight, and that's what kind of doesn't work. Characters are a bit funky. I mean, I like...
Well, you're certainly not going back for episode 2, are you?
They've not got me for episode 2. And it's trying to... I did watch the first couple of episodes of that Daredevil season 1. You know, it's hyper-violent, and this show's trying to latch onto that. There's a big fight sequence with Robin where he's grinding people's faces against the walls and snapping people's ankles, and it feels like it's going for the R-rated.
Type,
but it just doesn't pull it off at all. Just nothing interesting about it at all, I didn't find. But
what's the
other thing?
Buzz about it? Is it meant to be good?
I'm not actually sure. I haven't sure. A couple of people, our buddy Dave, said it's supposed to be good. The other thing I watched was I think you're a fan of it. I've never seen it before. The Revenant.
Big fan. Yeah, I watch that once a year, usually at winter.
Yeah, I do like Leo. Obviously a top drawer actor. I didn't think he was amazing in this. Did he get an Oscar or something for this? He was all right.
I think he did.
He was all right. I thought Tom Hardy was a lot better.
Yeah, no, Tom Hardy was great.
He was really good.
What do you think of that bear mauling?
Bear mauling, very good. I thought it was,
brutal.
Nice arty film. Good cinematography, etc. Got a bit silly Hollywood at the end. I thought it sold out a little bit, but
I like the fact that do you know that they didn't use any. So the whole film is obviously shot outside, and they didn't use any sort of lights or anything. Right. It's complete naturally lit.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's very Oscar kind of worthy, isn't it? It's like it's when you're watching it, it's like, okay, they're all in here for the Oscars.
Yeah. Posted up a few pictures, I think, on Instagram over the last few weeks, or last weekend, where you posted up some pictures. Quick
You've been
kick.
heavy on the gram, very heavy.
Quick kick, and I think, who was the other one you did?
I did Rock
Viper.
Random, yeah. I found Rock Viper.
I posted up some pictures of my what would have been season 1 of this is from Palatoy 1985, when we kind of first got the fully articulated range.
Yes.
Posted up some pics of those that I've still got. A lot of interest in Jammer, who is AKA Stalker, but he's the Z Force variant. A lot of people want to buy that guy off me.
Oh yeah, I saw a couple of cats sniffing around that one.
Yeah. So I mean, I might sell. I don't know, but if I do, I'll advertise it on here.
Well, what's he going for?
Business. I don't know. I think I've seen on eBay some, good quality versions, maybe 80 to 100 quid. Nah.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. I've ordered some O-rings. Those little bands that hold the waist together, because a lot of them are perished. So I don't know if you're going to need some. I've got like a 50 pack. So if you need some to fix your figures, you can jump on board mine if you want. Also,
lots of mine are loosey goosey. The knees have gone.
Yes.
They're not posable anymore.
No. There's no screw you can tighten for those knees, is there? I don't think.
The thing is, because I used to have to get mine in the bath all the time, because we do so many setups.
Yep.
I'd have to dunk them in the bath, and that is bad for them.
You think that soapy water is causing havoc?
Yeah, and rust and corrosion.
I tell you what I did see. You haven't. This is not something you posted up online. You've sent to me personally. You have got a sweet Scalextric set up in your loft.
Oh, it is. It's the dream. It's the kind of thing that when I was younger, we thought you had to be a millionaire.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, is Scalextric, is it a UK thing, or do they get this in the States?
No. It's very much a UK thing. It's Hornby, isn't it? And it's sort of model collectors. I spoke to Emma about this. I was like, do they... I don't know if they do have it. They must do. But it's quite niche. It's quite niche over here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I mean, because awesome. I know a lot of the cars, especially in the States as well, they were kind of, and over here we had them like TCR. They were very
generic cars.
Smaller slot cars. Whereas here, Scalextric, they were the bigger models, weren't they? They were chunky. You couldn't get much bigger than this, and track was big. Everything was big about it, and we collected this a lot as kids.
Yeah.
Christmas, it was generally a Christmas thing, wasn't it?
Well, the issue is you
set it up at Christmas, you're allowed it up for like 2 weeks, and then the parents get bored, get this shit off the carpet, I'm tripping over it every day, pack it away till next Christmas.
And then, out of sight, you can't see it, so it tends not to get set up much.
That's right.
Now, I've gone for a permanent fixture in the loft. It's all decked out up there. It's a big old track. It's got a heavy straight.
Yes.
And I you can't get me down from the loft. I'm like you.
Yeah,
you're in the loft a lot.
Yeah. Do you remember I had that police Rover?
Yeah, Rover.
That was really nice.
The British Rover.
Lots of Porsches. We used to have lots of Porsches.
Yeah, a lot of 911s doing the rounds.
A lot of 911s, yeah.
And sort of, do you remember the difference between 4-wheel drive? You could get either rubber band 4-wheel drive or cogged.
Yes. And then they developed those thing called magnet traction, where they put a magnet on the bottom of the car. First thing you do is peel that off.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is built in now. That's
is it?
Shame.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! But you can still buy the old retro cars on eBay.
Of course. But because it's built in, it's not quite as powerful as having a bare magnet on the track, which is what it was. But there's no fun. There's no hanging out. You can't get the back end out if you've got a magnet.
I used to have a couple of those stock cars. One was called Stick Shifter, and one was
went both ways.
Yeah, they were red and yellow, and they had a spinny, like a slot at the beginning. So if you go around a corner and you've got those extra...
You gave it too much tap.
You gave it too much welly, it would literally spin around and you start going 180 down the other end of the track.
You'd be racing the other way.
Yeah, and if you've got a crossover or a junction, beware.
Ah, the crossovers, they were great. But if you stopped by accident on that little plastic bit, you'd have to... Because what I'm finding already is that this track is so big... When you're in the beanbag and you're sat down, if you come off at the far end...
It's a walk.
It's like, this is a Sunday walk.
Can we not get some kind of remote control pickup truck that could
it's called a sibling, I think.
Right, okay. Or a kid.
It's called a kid. We got my youngest, Indy, she's 5. She thinks picking and putting back on the cars is great.
Yes.
So
there will come a point where that is not good enough for her.
Although she puts them on very heavy-handed. And, there's a lot of sort of dragging them back, and it's like, the braids, the braids.
The braids, man.
I've noticed now that in this kind of disposable world that we're living in, Scalextrics have disposable braids. You remember you used to have to thread them through?
Yeah. Is that not the case anymore?
Now, the whole thing just clips off, and you just toss it and just put another clip in. With braids already sort of done.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, a lot quicker.
Okay, shall we quickly, before we talk about Joe, let's go...
Inside Chief's mind. Whoa.
In we go.
So I was gonna have
dark in here.
I was gonna have getting an illness and cold that you can't shake. That's a bit boring. Everyone's got that, haven't they? So I've got another one that's been bugging me. This one has been bugging me for a long time. I encounter it on a daily basis. It's people who don't shut doors correctly.
I thought you were just going to stop at people.
Yeah. So if a door has got a door knob, there's only one way you can shut it. You pull it, you push it. If a door has got a handle, when you open the door, you have to pull the handle down. So when you close the door, I would like people to also pull the handle down and pull it too, and release the handle. Because otherwise, if you just pull the handle, it makes that horrible clunk in
Too
sound.
noisy for you.
Too noisy, man.
Really?
Just do not like it.
To be fair,
do not like it.
That is how, as a human being, I shut a door. I will close the handle.
Oh, nice. I like you. I like you.
Some of them are quite soft though, and you can just push, and they don't make too much noise.
Yeah.
Chief, you like a quiet.
I like to shut it quietly. If I'm relaxing or resting, or the kids trying to sleep, don't be just yanking that bathroom door shut.
Okay, so basically, let's delve deeper. This is specifically to do with your wife.
Well,
because how often are you around people opening and shutting doors?
I don't want to call her out personally, but
it is.
Yeah, but also I've noticed it. A lot of other people do it as well. If I'm trying to think of a scenario where I'm somewhere where there's a door with a handle.
I was going to say, we've got a very open plan house. Not many doors, just arches.
Okay, so you don't suffer that problem.
Through. The way you walk through that arch, too heavy.
Yeah, you tell. But so that's inside Chief's mind today.
I don't really like shut doors. I try and encourage the kids. I don't really like bedroom doors shut, and
right.
I think I've got that from my mum. She was never into it, so I just leave them ajar. I guess that winds you up even more.
Well, it's a bathroom one. I mean, I don't care.
Oh, bathroom.
No, but what I'm saying is, I don't care about
when I say we're open plan, we do have doors on our bathrooms.
No, but I don't care if it's a bathroom. I don't mind if I go in for a quick wee or whatever. I don't mind leaving the door open. That's fine. But the missus has a big problem. If you're in the toilet,
guy
you need
that's
to shut
got to
the door.
walk past.
Well, there's only three of us in the house. If there's guests over, I might shut the door.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some G.I. Joe comics.
Let's do it.
We left off last episode. We had just concluded issue 24 of Real American Hero, and in that, Cobra Commander had been captured, but he escaped, and Storm Shadow was left behind. So he's now in the clutches of the Joes, and there was a mysterious receipt in his pocket pointing to somewhere in Florida.
Yeah, he'd been shopping, yeah.
And the last panel was Wild, Weasel and Firefly had tracked this tracking device that was in the handle of Storm Shadow's sword to a
Everglades or something.
A shack in the Everglades. And wait a minute, there's some crazy dude with double pistolas and a hood on his head.
Yeah.
Zartan.
Enter Zartan.
So issue 25, I've got the cover here in front of me. It's Wild Bill in a chopper. I don't know if that's Zap or not. No, the Zap's in the other Dragonfly. And then it's Cobra Commander and Zartan on a water moccasin.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, not truly reflective of what happens in this issue.
Yeah, it's another case of just
Cobra's
things happening, but amount, put into one.
Yeah, so basically the synopsis of this one is it's a firefight in the Everglades. The Joes track down to go down to the Zartan's swampland. Storm Shadow is in Alcatraz. He mysteriously escapes. And that's basically big firefight. That's basically what happens in this one.
Yeah, Chief, I had a bit of an issue with the art on this one.
Okay, so this is script by Larry Hama, pencils by Frank Springer, inks by Mike Gustovich, letters by Rick Parker, and colours by George Roussos. Now, Frank Springer is possibly my favourite G.I. Joe artist.
Oh, cry. I thought it was a bit goonish. And
we're at odds already. He does...
lack of detail.
I think he does draw it a little bit cartoonish, a little bit, curved edges where you might expect straight edges, but... I don't know. I think I am possibly a little bit colour-blinded because I started reading these comics when they were reprinted in Action Force, which was in 1987, and Action Force started reprinting the G.I. Joe stuff. They had a one-off of issue 34, but generally from this issue 25, is where they started reprinting the American stuff. So
okay,
this issue and onwards is right in my wheelhouse of where I was collecting and reading for the first time. So I've got a fondness for these issues. I don't know if that's clouded, but no, I'm a big fan.
Okay. Does this guy draw, as you said, for the future? Like he basically takes on a big.
He's on a good run here, Frank Springer, and he kind of then a guy called Rod Wiggum comes in, and they kind of alternate a little bit, but they both have extended runs. So unfortunately, you've got to put up with this for a while.
Well, no, I mean, what I was going to say is there was an element of I actually sort of it just took a bit of getting used to.
Gotcha.
I think,
especially from that issue 24,
and then I actually kind of towards the end, I sort of understood what he was going for a bit more. It was more just an initial shock.
Yeah, because we had that sort of Russ Heath art on the previous one, which was quite realistic and grounded.
Yes. Yeah, it was just some of the Zartan stuff. I was like, what's going on here?
I mean, early on here, you've got the water moccasin, because now Baroness Destro and Cobra Commander are now going to Zartan's place. And the water moccasin here depicted a lot bigger than the toy, because all three of them are in the gun turret. And we know the toy, it had Copperhead as the driver and just one space in the gun turret. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but good
one
vehicle,
of my favourite Cobra vehicles. I had that.
Yep.
Or I might have bought that off you. I also had the Tiger Force version.
Did you?
Yeah.
Don't remember that.
I love that kind of way that they were able to sort of give a Cobra vehicle, reskin it for the Joes, as if they sort of captured it, I like that.
Yeah. What do you think of Zartan's kind of introduction? Is holographic, basically. They walk into a shack and Destro's not impressed, and then, he pushes a button or whatever, and suddenly it turns into a high-tech
Yeah,
base.
I'm down with that. I didn't realise. I knew he was obviously a master of camouflage and stuff. I didn't know it was tech based and he could actually make his sort of skin just turn into something else.
Yeah, because I think when you're a kid, you kind of just think he's like almost like not a shapeshifter.
Well, no, he changes his face, wears masks and things.
Yeah.
The toy came with a little mask, didn't it?
Yes, I've got that. I've got that Zartan with the it's like a.
Was the only way to get Zartan through the little bike? His little
the swamp skier, the skiff thing.
Yeah,
I believe in the UK, yes.
Yeah, he didn't come as a figure, did he? You had to get that.
That's right. Yeah.
It was a cool little thing, though.
We get the
I know you're a big fan of Zartan, aren't you? He's one of your absolute faves.
I do like Zartan. Yeah.
I just remember you being a big fan. Anyway.
Yeah. We get more. We get the introduction of some more Joes here.
It's a very busy issue. Very busy. Yeah. A lot of Joes.
Yeah, I really like that scene. Basically, they're on the USS.
I love it. The
USS Jane, which is not to be confused with the USS Flag, which was the big aircraft carrier. Which is, I don't know how much that goes for if you can buy it, but apparently it's well expensive. I've seen some videos online of people putting it together in real time, but.
Yeah, I love this scene, by the way, in the mess.
Yeah, we get, Wild Bill's telling us about some new guys. We've got Cutter, Deep Six, and Mutton Junkyard. There's a great panel where they kind of go into the mess hall, the canteen, and there's guys eating. There's Tripwire's got his hot lunch, guys sitting down in Mutton Junkyard. And
I really liked all this stuff. Really good. He's got absolutely no control over that goddamn dog.
No.
But for a world-class dog trainer.
Yeah.
And that's why. And also, I really like how they... Deep Six. I do get confused with all the different diving specialists.
Yep.
So we've already been introduced. So we've been introduced to Torpedo.
Correct.
Yeah, and now we've got Deep Six.
And we haven't had Shipwreck yet, have we?
No, we haven't had Shipwreck. So Deep Six was the guy in the toy. He came in a big old plastic diving thing.
Yes. So he came with. Oh, you dropped something there.
Yeah, that's all right.
He came in the Shark
Yes.
SHARC, which was that. I had that vehicle. And he comes. You're right. That figure he comes in a massive, bulky, deep sea diving outfit, which is not posable. It's just the arms moving. That's it. But he's obviously
portrayed
depicted
here as on the spectrum, effectively.
Yes.
Well, he's almost autistic, isn't he? That's how I read it. He's just got zero sort of social skills or emotions, and
he's just a bit. What's it?
I thought that was
Asperger's or whatever it is. But yeah,
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, bit more characterization from Larry, and well drawn by Frank Springer. He's cut a bit of. He's got his wayfinding pencils and protractors out, and he's having a conversation with Cutter, and he's like, "Don't let the excitement get to you," and he goes, "I won't."
Yeah, just like his face as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's because he's definitely trying to give all of these guys some kind of personality.
Yeah, he's dealing with such a massive cast of characters.
Because now we're really getting into it. I took a moment. I was like, wow, there's a lot of Joes now already in this comic.
Yeah.
They've introduced so many, but they've done it so well.
Yeah, and you also get the first bit they pick up on Silent Interlude where you see the tattoos on Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow's arms. This is the first kind of picking up of that because Gung Ho, he was sliced up in last issue by Storm Shadow.
Yes.
Snake Eyes tending to him, and you see the tattoo on Snake Eyes' arm. So now the Joes are aware. Because previously, it was just Scarlet maybe. We'll rank this as, even though Origin of Snake Eyes is issue 26, 27, we'll actually rank these 3 issues together because there's enough carryover from this issue into the next ones. Yeah. These 3 issues can be contained as an arc. This is the one where now they get the Joes obviously are following up on that receipt they found on Storm Shadow, and they've gone full bore. I mean, they've launched the USS Jane with dragonflies. They're going in heavy-handed to find out what that was all about. Yeah,
and I guess you've got Cobra Commander, Destro, and Baroness in a kind of foot chase through the swamps.
Yeah, but you also got Firefly and Weasel, and this was an interesting point in those IDW hardcovers. They point out that Larry Hama, most of the high guys, your Destros, your Fireflies, your Wild Weasels, your Cobra Commanders, all these guys have got masks on, and he wanted characters where you could see their faces and their emotions. So that's kind of why he created Dr. Venom, who was never really a figure. And interesting, the Dreadnoks, Hasbro had actually come to him and said, look, because they basically said, you're going to use all these figures. They didn't give him any background. Here's the design of the figure. Go ahead. And they had, off the back of Return of the Jedi, which had the Ewoks, they had said to Hama, we want you to put some sort of cuddly, furry villains in the comic. And he was like, he said it was the only time he stood up and said no, and they actually backed off. And so he said, look, just do some Australian biker gang, whatever. That I can work with that. So then they went and designed the Dreadnoks figures. And
I love the Dreadnoks. I was a big fan.
And he made those maskless characters, into some main villains because he didn't want any more masked villains. Storm Shadow obviously masked as well. But good job he pushed back on those furry teddy bear villains.
Yeah, do you like the Dreadnoks?
Yes, love the Dreadnoks.
Yeah, who's your fave?
That is a tough one because of the original 3, we're saying Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch. Torch. No, did Torch ever get a figure? We never had him over here.
Yeah, we did. I had him.
Torch?
Yeah. Torch is one of the main... Yeah.
Nah, I'm disputing.
Dude, mate, you dispute it. You do your little fact-checking and get back to me.
What series are you saying he was in?
Oh, I don't know what series. I'm saying I had him.
Because he wasn't with the originals.
He had his aviators on. I had him.
You sure you're not talking about Monkey Wrench?
I am talking about Monkey Wrench.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. Hey, that didn't take long to sort out.
That did not take long to sort out, no.
Yeah. Hang on. They're visually very similar.
Correct, yes. They both got the beard and the aviators, yeah. They are very similar.
Damn it. So was he never released?
I don't know. I know that... I don't think we ever had him over here in the UK, but we'll have a look. I'll tell you what, I've got that. I've got, of course, the 3D Joe's art guide, which is what I should be consulting right now. Which I would do.
How are you feeling? Oh, jeez.
I love you're bumping around. I love Tripwire, man. He is becoming a comedy genius.
Oh, he gets a door to the face in this one.
Well, he falls off the dragonfly in the swamp.
Yes, yeah.
He's previously
stacks it in the glades.
I think this is the 3rd time he's stacked it, and there's another one coming next issue. I think Torpedo looking cool, man, jumping off that dragonfly.
Yes, very cool.
Looking very good. Nice shootout in the Everglades.
Yeah, it's really. I thought it's a solid issue. I thought.
Deep Six saves the day. Then they go back and he has a beef. Wild Bill's got a beef with him because they get back to the USS Jane and he says, "Oh, fancy flying there, pard," and want to shake on it, and Deep Six just walks past and blanks him, and then someone has to hold back. I think it's Airborne has to hold back Wild Bill in case he socks him one.
Yeah.
But they do explain that's his character. He is just that, cold fish.
When I was reading it and just flicking through, it was one of the few times I had absolutely no idea I was on the last page, and I just assumed that wasn't the last. So I didn't think it ended particularly well.
Right.
With Zartan and
Junkyard just shows up on his doorstep.
Junkyard. Yeah, I didn't. I just turned expecting another page, and I was like, oh, okay, but it's fine.
So that's kind of how it's left. Junkyard, they've captured Firefly and Weasel in the swamp.
Yes, yeah.
Because Junkyard trapped them, but then Junkyard ran off.
Firefly's not
and
really...
also, another key point, Storm Shadow has escaped from Alcatraz.
Yes.
Where he was
taken.
That
was a whole funny bit, wasn't it?
Yep.
No one's guarding him.
Well, the first panel, Roadblock's taking him to Alcatraz, and I like this. Roadblock's fast becoming one of my favourites. He's like, you sliced up my buddy, gung ho. He goes, try and escape, because when you escape, you're mine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's itching for it.
He's itching for it. Now he's escaped, but you can't find him.
Yeah. So he's out there, and it kind of sets up the next issue really nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah. What you saying? Issue 26 cover?
Yeah, not a fan.
No, this is kind of like the spread documents,
dossier and files.
Yeah,
but done in a way that doesn't really get me excited.
Almost too much going on that.
Yeah, well, that stupid his sister.
Yeah,
the way that she's drawn is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean I'm
not into that.
So Larry Hama's jumped back onto art for this one. Obviously, he did the art for 21. He's back on his art with Steve Lealoha doing the inks and finishes again. We've got Rick Parker lettering, George Roussos colouring.
Historically, this is an important issue.
Well, this is it's jumping. It's the top of my list easily so far. I had goosebumps reading this. Serious.
Okay, well, I would say yes on the next issue.
Right.
I thought the next one was much better.
Okay, this is August 84, by the way. This is where we're at now, August 84.
Yeah. Is it Nam that they're in?
It's
not actually.
They've not named it. They've just said Southeast Asia. So
yeah, I mean the Nam stuff is so cool.
It's implied it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and this issue, even though it says Snake Eyes Origin, you do still have that scenes where they are still back in the swamp, because I like that first bit where really cool page. The second page, they're spying on Junkyard and Mutt's like hand over his face. What's this stupid dog doing? But I also really like, and Tripwire's got a goofy look on his face. But I also really like Torpedo, the way that Larry Hama's drawn him, because he's Hawaiian and he's actually drawn him as if he looks Hawaiian. So I think Hama as a penciler is massively underrated.
I like how the kind of storytelling device of how they do all the flashback stuff. It's basically going from different people. Yeah. Remembering it. Who does it start off with? Stalker.
The first bit. Well, the first bit is kind of the soft master, is it? Because I love that opening bit. There's a young punk kid.
Are they in Chinatown or something? Where are they?
They're in Spanish Harlem.
Yeah,
and he's gone into this convenience store. Is it a convenience store or something like that? And this kid, he's pulled a what is he, 15, 16, and he's pulled a gun on this Asian-looking fella with old bald white hair, fat dude. He's pulled a gun on him. And there's a great page where this guy explains, how he's not going to be able to shoot with the safety on. So the kid takes the safety off. Then he says, now with the safety on, I can jack the slide back, eject the magazine, basically disarms the kid and says, I'll give you $50 or whatever for this empty pistol. It's yours.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy behind him in a hat with an Uzi, and of course it's Snake Eyes. And you find out that this is...
This looks hilarious. His incognito.
Yeah.
He's in full gear, but just with a trench coat and a hat on.
Yeah, I mean this is goosebump stuff for me.
Yeah, it's great. I liked it. Yeah. I'm probably not quite as much as you. And can I tell you something that I'm getting a little bit? I think this is just a preference thing.
Go on.
I'm not that. I guess the climate that we live in. Larry is obviously he's a big gun guy, isn't he? I'm getting a bit.
He was military, but I don't know. I don't know if he's anti-war or not. I'm not actually sure.
No, I'm not coming from that stance. But I'm getting a little bit tired of the exposition where they keep naming guns.
Oh yeah, he's a big
in a real world. It just feels like, why would you ever say? They're always talking about the full names of these.
He's a big fan, and he also say, have some 7.62 NATO small arms fire.
Yeah, what you don't realise about the so and so is you can do this. Yeah. Feels a bit heavy.
He was a stickler for having the correct gun depicted in an issue. So if an artist drew a gun and it didn't look like the real world example, he'd send it back and say redraw it.
Yeah, no, that's all cool that they're real world. It's just the constant.
Telling me what the gun is.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. But let's talk about the flashback.
Like you say, the flashback stuff is really well done. So, like you said,
the arrow, Tommy with the bandana.
Yeah, because they're analysing this I-Ching hexagram sigil that's on their wrists, and then Stalker says, my time in the long range recon patrol back in Nam, whatever. It was him, kid called Tommy Arashikage, and Arashikage translates into the word Storm Shadow.
Yeah. So the first little section is from Stalker telling you the story of how it happens, and there's awesome bits where they pop smoke. Yeah. And
there's a trooper, isn't there? Chopper. Yeah, and he has to shoot an arrow through the guy to silence him, and there's that bit.
Snake Eyes just takes it, man.
But he's reminiscing on this picture of his twin sister to get him through. You know, I really liked all that stuff. I thought it was really cinematic.
Yeah, it's really good. It is really good.
Like you say, they're on an evac. The chopper comes in. Snake Eyes takes one. Stalker says, "Leave him," and Tommy drops his gear and basically rushes back and gets Snake Eyes onto the chopper.
Who's on the chopper? It's Hawk, isn't it?
No.
Who's on the chopper then?
No one.
Is there no one of importance?
Interestingly, during that scene where they're laying down cover fire for Tommy, if you look, I don't know if you've got it in front of you.
Yeah, I have.
Top panel, guy on the far left, shades, Tash. It's a Stan Lee cameo.
Are you actually saying it is?
Supposedly, yes.
God, for a minute there, I thought you were going to say it was General Douche.
No.
Yeah, and then so interweaved with this flashback stuff is the stuff in the swamps, and it's kind of I guess it's not a goon chase, but it's
a manhunt.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah, but it's just funny that you've got all of the head kind of honchos of Cobra involved in this.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about Firefly's not really being, he's a cool guy visually, but he's
not doing anything.
He's not doing much.
No.
He doesn't look like he can handle himself. I just remember him being one of my absolute favourites, but he's been a bit of a goon so far. He makes quite a cool trap.
Yeah, Malayan tiger trap, which we saw, I think, back in issues 12 to 15, I think, where the guys are in Sierra Gordo and they make loads of traps in about 4 hours.
Yeah, and so then we get... I
think this is when Hawk picks up the flashback.
Yeah.
Because he met Storm Shadow. All the soldiers are coming back from the war. Their families are there at the airports to greet them. And this bandaged up Snake Eyes is the only one who had no one to meet him. And
because that day his family had a car crash.
Man, this is brutal. Yeah, his family was involved in a car crash, which will be more interconnected later. But Hawk's there to kind of tell him, and it's very filmic. And then he's like, I've got nowhere else to go. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go over to Japan with see my buddy Tommy and get into the family business of ninjutsu.
Yeah, takes to it very well.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that before he goes there, when he's in Nam, he has got no ninja skills.
He's a trained fighter, whatever, obviously, isn't he? But he probably had some innate abilities. But yeah, I don't think he's done no ninjutsu, and he's gone over and he's training with the soft master, the hard master, and the young master.
Yeah. What you find out is that basically he is a badass with a sword and can quite easily handle Storm Shadow in a sword fight, but no one beats Storm Shadow with a bow.
Yes, they've each got their specialties. There's a really cool panel
here. He's getting squirrels through a wall.
Yeah, well, there's a really cool panel where, it shows the rigours of training. He's under a waterfall.
Love that.
They're got kendo sticks balanced on a beam. And the last panel there is straight out of Shinobi. Or Shinobi straight out of this. I love Shinobi, the arcade game. And there's a ninja with a sword, and he's got a throwing star throwing it towards the camera. Love that page, that panel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really cool bit with the young master and the soft master and hard master watching a sword fight between the two. They turn to leave, and he says, "Who's going to win?" The hard master says, "Snake Eyes," and the soft master says, "Yeah, but looking back, Storm Shadow is the one who cut Snake Eyes' ceremonial robe, or whatever." And the hard master says, "Oh no, you underestimate him. He let Storm Shadow win, so not to lose face."
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, he's practicing with the bow and arrow, shooting squirrels through walls because he can hear through the wall.
Yeah. This is, and then it kind of it cuts back to the Everglades for the last page, doesn't it? And this is another one where I was like, oh, surprised it ended. I didn't.
Well, before that, we got the big bit where obviously Hardmaster gets killed.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking about that. Yeah.
No, he's donning the cloak.
He's imitating.
He's donning
Snake Eyes' style.
The cloak of the chameleon. Yeah, he's donning the cloak of the mantle, the chameleon's mantle, where he challenges Snake Eyes. He jumps behind a screen, challenges Snake Eyes to identify who he's impersonating, who he's imitating, and he says it should have been obvious. He was imitating you. And then the Hardmaster gets killed by an arrow. So obviously someone was trying to kill Snake Eyes and killed the Hardmaster instead. Yeah. And they identified the arrow as Storm Shadow's arrow is the one he shot that squirrel through the wall with earlier.
Yeah, and also that you're basically meant to think no one else could make that shot.
Correct.
Apart from Storm Shadow.
Yeah. And then, like you say, the end of the issue,
all the goons fall into quicksand.
Yeah, they've been following Junkyard, and he's led them into quicksand.
Yeah, and they're all in there. So yeah, absolutely solid issue. But the next one was my fave.
Right. So 27. There's a New York subway, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes fighting, and in the background is Scarlet and Wild Bill in a dragonfly.
So immediately, though, we pick up with how the goons are getting out of the quicksand.
Frank Springer's back on art for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the goons getting out of the quicksand, or the Joes rushing to get them.
This is the bit where Tripwire
falls off a log.
Head first, man.
Big fan of Tripwire.
Oh, yeah, he's great. You need that. I mean, this is actually some really funny stuff. Oh, the Cobra clowns on that tree.
Yes.
Trying to get up. Yeah, so that's going on, and then we finally get into...
It's another flashback, isn't it?
Yeah, they're... what do they do? They want to recruit him,
They're building the G.I. Joe team. This is obviously back in the past, and...
This actually happens very quickly.
Word is that, Snake Eyes is back in the UK. Let's go. Stalker and Hawk basically go up to try and recruit him.
I thought that was going to go on for ages. I thought they were going to have a massive... But basically, it's just one panel. It's like, come on, mate.
Yeah, basically, they get to his cabin,
hops in.
and he's like, Snake Eyes. And Stalker's like, that's just a wolf hawk. There's our man behind us coming in the door. Looks like he's been out rabbit hunting with his gun. Amazing. Oh, goosebumps again. This is just...
Yeah. See, I thought they were going to have to sit there and really convince him to come.
Yeah. And then this shows again... after reading this, if Snake Eyes is not your favourite Joe, there's something wrong with you after reading all these issues. Because he comes across as so, even though he doesn't speak, he's so, not well-rounded, but they've built his character of, this somewhat compassionate badass who's dealing with a lot of mental issues and
he's got a moral
anguish.
Compass, hasn't he?
He's got a moral compass, but, he's hurting inside, man. This guy needs a hug.
Yeah.
And they're doing...
He doesn't want one.
They're doing some training. Scarlett's laying out all these Joes.
He's doing more of the letting other people win here.
Gives her a massive whack on the face in a one-on-one training because she said, "Give me your best shot." So he's boshed her. She's thrown him, but she could tell by the way he landed that he was like he did with Storm Shadow, not to lose face. He's doing the same thing here. He's letting her assume or everyone think that she's won, but he was in complete control.
Yeah, I love all the artwork in the next page. All that green in the helicopter, and pretty brutal. Where he gets his face burnt off.
Yeah, because they're recalling a mission, aren't they?
Who's he saving? Is it Rock and Roll?
No, it's Scarlet. Scarlet. Rock and Roll's in the chopper, but then
he's in the
Scarlet's pack as her web gears trapped in the door. The chopper's going down, and he basically has to jump in and save her. The other helicopter rotors hit their helicopter, and this aviation gas plume just basically straight into his feed, burning his whole head. They're like, he came out of the helicopter holding Scarlet. His ravaged face was moving, but no sound was coming out.
Yeah.
So this is where he gets his disfigurement from.
Yeah.
Saving Scarlet on a routine mission. And she tries to connect with him, but he's a cold fish now. He's kind of deep sixing her a bit.
Yeah, but this is okay. So basically, this is where I was like, "Oh my god, this is one of the best issues we've ever had." In basically the entire confrontation between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes in in Silent New York.
All right. When they go to this issue, you mean?
Yeah. Because just how their fight and their chase just moves between different environments, different locations, how it ends up to where it starts. I mean, they start off in that cafe, because it ends up on a train.
Yeah, it cuts back to that first flashback in the beginning of last issue where Snake Eyes has gone to Spanish Harlem to see the Softmaster, and Softmaster says, yes, you got to take. I want you to take down Storm Shadow. You know, now that you're in a position, now that we know he's come out, he's been undercover for so long or off the radar. Now he's joined up with Cobra. This is a good chance to take him out. You know, if I'm not mistaken, he's right outside the window. Now get him! Yeah,
it's quite out of character for Snake Eyes because he just absolutely unleashes with the machine gun. The Uzi. There could have been everywhere.
There could have been civilians outside, kids,
Look
dogs.
at the bar. He's absolutely mashing it up.
Yeah. He is literally just.
And then we just get this hyper, filmic, cinematic foot chase.
Yeah.
And you can just imagine the kind of music playing as they're going through that mall and stuff.
Yeah, there's
really
there's a great scene. It's outside. He's come out the steps outside, and like you say, there's
on the high street.
There's three guys. There's some guys playing 3-card Monty. There's a guy with a book stand. Kids with mums with babies, toddlers. Guys break dancing. Yeah, and they're just running.
Some great bants with the street sweeper.
Yeah.
It keeps going. It keeps going. The zings is so funny.
Yeah. And then Word's got back to the pit, so
they chopper in with
they've choppered in the vamp.
Oh, it's very cool.
To track them, and then like you say, they get on a subway, fight on top.
Get on a train.
I'd love to see this as like a
I know filmed
live action.
My favourite panel is that bottom left panel with the dragonfly and then the trains going in the tunnel.
Yeah.
A lot of motion, so awesome.
Yeah, and he's got his back. Storm Shadow's got his back to the bridge. It's going underground or undercover. And Snake Eyes, there's flashbacks. You know, he's got being hit and Tommy saving him back in Nam, and he's like, maybe there's something more to this. Throws away his knife. Storm Shadow's like, you want me to come at you? And that bottom panel, just before the page before Snake Eyes throws away his dagger.
Yeah,
and it says no clearance, and you can see Storm Shadow's about to get hit in the back of the head. Storm Shadow is stacked, man. Look at the way Frank Springer draws him. He's wide as a bus.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot of back.
He's been doing a lot of lat pull downs.
Yeah.
And then he throws away his knife, so Storm Shadow lunges at him, and obviously, they fall clear of this low hanging bridge. Storm Shadow.
I just love it how they're having that conversation, this heavy conversation in the middle of those two train carriages speeding along.
And it's amazing. This is, again, the power of Frank Springer and Larry Harmer to a great extent, that you say they're having a conversation, but it's actually only one guy speaking.
Of course.
It's not sorry, is it? It's a testament to how good they've constructed those scenes, that they're having a conversation, even though it's only one guy speaking. It's amazing how much is conveyed. And then they kind of had before the other,
because what Snake Eyes is thinking. You're doing that for you're doing the talking for him.
It's his sword brother. He saved him in Nam. Maybe there's something more to it. And then that's when Storm Shadow says, back in the day when the Hardmaster was killed, I saw a masked dude escaping in a Cobra helicopter. So it's been my life's mission to infiltrate Cobra.
Yes!
And when I get high enough up the ranks, Cobra
Big
Commander
reveal.
or someone will let me know who that killer was, and I can bring him to justice. And
love that.
Great bit at the end. The subway cars stopped. Wild Bill and Scarlet rush in. They see just obviously it's monotone, but just a stationary, solitary Snake Eyes sat down with his back against the thing.
Down.
Where's Storm Shadow? Why do I bother asking? You never answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. They didn't buckle and do a sweet moment there.
Yeah.
It's just he is in one.
And then
right
admittedly
now.
the last panel, the Joes, Cobra Commander saying the Joes have disappeared in the swamp, and then Zartan says, let's call out the Dreadnoks. It is quite a good break point, because the next kind of 3 issues do, form a good story. So I think we're okay to rank these 3 together.
Okay. How many Yo-Jo Colas, Chief?
I'm just looking, just before I do that, I'm just looking in the back of this issue, because I've got some letters here. Let's see what we've got. Dear Joes, I just read issue 24. It was the best ever. The cover was great. So was the art by Russ Heath. I love the idea of hiding Cobra Commander in the Rockies and making him work. I also love the Skyhawk, and Storm Shadow is a great character. I have a couple of questions. When will we see a profile of Snake Eyes, and is Firefly a ninja? And
I wonder why he's asking if Fireflies.
Yeah, I think just because his outfit is pretty much the same as Storm Shadow's, but in a different colour. It's that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I never. But
he
was
foreshadowing something that would actually happen later, and that's from Bob Baxter. And the answer, the reply was, a Snake Eyes profile ran in issue 19. Bob, sorry you missed it. Firefly is not a ninja. He appreciates his specialities are sabotage, demolitions, and terror. However, he also has infiltration skills since he's never been seen entering or leaving any target area. Love it.
As we're about to cut to him being a goon in a swamp.
Correct.
I love his get-up. He's so cool.
And there's also an advert at the bottom of this letters page which says, "The Transformers are coming." And it's just got blacked out silhouettes of some strange things at the bottom.
That's exciting.
So what are we saying about this Yo Joe?
Yo Joes.
You want me to go first or you?
You go first, buddy.
It's a 9. It's easily nice. It's top. It's gone straight to the top for me. It's not even a question about that.
Okay, wow, straight in there with a 9. I was going to go high 8. So the highest... Well, it's difficult because I'd probably give the first 2 8s and that last one 9, so I feel like they bring it down to an 8. That would be my average.
Okay.
But the highest 8 we've had.
Okay. All right, so you're going to slot that one in at 3rd place on the list, and Chief is putting it in at the top.
It's going to be... I'm interested, because I just feel like we really are looking at 8s and above now.
Well,
I'm wondering when there's going to be an issue that's going to be a stinker, because they're just not coming.
No.
Every issue is just fantastic at the moment.
When I read these the other day, I actually couldn't stop, so I read about another 4 issues.
Yeah, I wanted to.
I literally
just couldn't.
I just couldn't put them down. So
it is getting like that now.
I'm going to go back and read the next 3 as well. We're going to go for issues 28, 29, and 30 for our next pod. So if you want to read along with us.
Are we getting into? We must be getting into 1985 at some point.
Well, this was August 84 here, so
okay.
We'll soon be getting into 85.
We are getting through it, Chief.
We're not doing too bad, are we?
Seriously, I mean, those dodgy issues in the they seem like a long time ago.
Well, there was a lot of scene setting, was it? I don't think Larry Harmer or anyone involved thought it was going to last past a couple of years, and now, so it's why bother building this big world with these characters if it's going to get cancelled? But now the numbers, and I've got some numbers maybe for the next pod. We'll dig out some numbers of what it was selling.
Established?
I think at this point it was doing well, and they realised they had something, a hit on their hands here. And in 85, it's going to start challenging X-Men and Avengers for the Marvel's top-selling book. So they had something. So now it's really hitting the ground. And
I guess the toys were a massive part of that as well.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Because the toys were huge, weren't they?
Toys were big,
especially in the States.
But I mean, we've posted up that there were TV commercials, for these comics. I don't know if other comics had TV commercials or not, but we'll see if we can find the most recent ones and post them up.
I think the voice of Cobra Commander is the voice that they use in the cartoon, but the voice for Destro is that's dodgy.
Yeah, you don't like that.
The voiceover in that is Destro. He's an evil man with an evil plan.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's when does that stop? Because at the moment there's an advert for all the issues that we're doing.
Not sure. I wasn't even aware these existed till someone pointed them out to us. A few weeks ago. So yeah, they're great. I like it. So. So read along with us, please. 28, 29, 30. If you've got the issues from back in the day, great. If not, the collections, as you can attest, are easy to find and not expensive.
Yeah, now I'm about to move on to... I think these next 3 are covered in my volume 3.
Yes.
And then after that, I will be digital for the next 10 or 12 issues.
Yep, and then I think you've got volume 5, you've got the IDW reprint, haven't you? And then it's up.
So this is depending on how Dig goes.
Yeah,
I do quite like having something tangible, I have to say. But I did have a little sneak forward when I bought the digital copy on Comixology, and I was like, wow, the quality is amazing. Yeah. It's so sharp, and the colours, I was like, this is quite impressive. And I don't know how you read digitally. Do you still read it as one page, or do you do that thing where it pushes in and it's quite sort of cinematic
where it
when
kind
you
of
swipe
zooms
it?
Panel to panel?
Yeah.
I like to have it...
but you can choose to see the first... You can choose to see the whole page first and then go into that.
I like to have it, whether I'm reading it on my tablet or on my laptop, I like to have it full screen. Well, no, kind of a half zoom. So I see the first half of the page... and I kind of scroll down to the bottom of the page.
Yeah, there's all these really cool settings that you can sort of customize it to when you finish the last panel, it can show you the page in its entirety, so you get a feel. And then it goes on.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Okay. Obviously, we've got to do a little something called Chief Asks Ben a Question. Chief asks Ben a question. What'll he say? What'll he do when Chief asks Ben a question?
Can't wait. Hope it's not another Arsenal one.
No.
Dark times.
If you were a transformer,
Yes!
as in a robot that could turn into something,
what
vehicle would you be?
Honestly, probably a Lambo.
Yeah? Yeah?
I reckon. There was a contest, wasn't there? Do you remember who he was?
Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, I think, were both.
Two?
Yeah.
Sunstreaker,
Sunstreaker was the yellow, Sideswipe was the red.
Was it as simple that all of the Autobots were cars and all of the Decepticons were planes? Is that right? No. Maybe it was
really.
Initially. Then they loosened up.
Well,
on
I don't know.
that.
Initially,
I think initially it was.
Well, first wave, kind of four-wheeled vehicles? You mean? Because obviously you had Ironhide and Ratchet, which were kind of like Ratchet was an ambulance, Ironhide was like a truck. You had Inferno, who was a fire engine, Grapple.
Yeah.
There was a lot of similar.
I loved the train.
A lot of similar molds that were just different colours. So Ironhide and Ratchet were the same kind of mould, but just different colours. Grapple and Inferno, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. But the Seekers were the Decepticon planes. Your Thundercrackers, your Skywarps, your Starscreams, all those dudes.
Chief, I'll probably be a Lambo. I think a really fast, obnoxious supercar.
Right.
Does that surprise you? Well, I mean, you're quite limited. I mean, what are you going to transform into? Either something that flies, something that drives.
Vehicles kind of, obviously later on they kind of had the Beast Wars stuff. Or no, even, I guess, some of the...
I tell you what.
Some of Soundwave's tapes, obviously Laserbeak or Ravage.
I didn't realise until I bought him recently. I bought a G1 Soundwave. I didn't realise how many tapes he had.
Yeah.
There's loads.
I mean, he had Rumble and Frenzy, who were they transformed from a tape into a robot. Then he had Laserbeak and Ravage, who were I think that was the original four, but then he had even more after that. He had Ratbat.
Who was the other flying? I always get him confused with Laserbeak, but it's
Buzzsaw?
Not Laserbeak. Yeah, Buzzsaw. That's who I'm
not sure if Buzzsaw. Someone can correct me on this. I'm not sure if Buzzsaw is just Laserbeak, but the Japanese version.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know.
What's that company that they all came from? Yeah, the
Takato or something like that. I don't know. Not Tato. That's video games.
Because I'm looking at the moment. I'm on the hunt for a G1 Prime, but not.
You got to pay $1 for that, haven't you?
Not the cheap sort of I'm looking for the Hasbro one.
Yeah, that's top dollar, I think.
No, it is, but I absolutely need it.
Right. Okay. If you need it, you need it, I guess.
I just one more thing on Transformers, because I imagine you were the kind of guy that really got stressed out by the fact that Megatron transformed into a handgun that Starscream would use. And that there is obviously a huge issue there with size.
I think initially... It was like a question of how is that possible? But I think over time it's just more like, he's obviously got some kind of size changing ability inside him. Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. I know sometimes you struggle with the, the sort of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Because how would you feel, for example, some of this G.I. Joe stuff that we're reading?
Yes.
If that was directly put into... Because you weren't really that big on the cartoon that I was like. And I remember recently you said, you were trying to watch the movie and you couldn't really get through it. And you were like, it's just silly. And I was like, I don't remember the story being that out there.
No, and it's probably, just as silly as some of the stuff that's happening in the comics. But for some reason, comics get a pass. But having said that, I am up for revisiting the... animated, and if you want to do, we could do a bonus
I'm massively
content.
Up for that.
We could do some Boko bonus content of our animated watchings.
Yeah, we'll just do the UK films that came out, which were basically stitched together versions of the US TV show.
Yes.
Put into sort of 90-minute features.
Right, gotcha.
There's only about 4 of them.
Yep.
But that, because I have to say, they did a lot of the characterization that I then, when I was playing with them, they would be the characters
the voices
that were set up.
And
the voices there, which are, their characters are the sort of same types of people that they are portrayed in the comic.
Yes.
So I think everything does come from Harmer in terms of their their characters, but the cartoon played a massive part in my kind of G.I. Joe fandom.
Yeah,
but
good stuff. If you want to get involved, we're on social media. We're at Talking Joe Comics on Instagram. We are at Talking_Joe on Twitter. Had some good.
Where's it all happening?
Good bunch of followers. We had about 20 followers in the last week join up.
Hot damn!
So good action there. We're on Facebook, Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast.
You're still trying to stoke that Facebook group.
Still sort of
something going.
Old Wolf is Mark Seddon is the main guy. He posts something most days with some good
nice
stuff. So thanks to him for that.
Cheers, bud.
We've got an email address. It's talkingjoecomics@gmail.com.
Still waiting for that question.
Still waiting for that first email.
When that comes in,
it's happy days.
Stop everything and just
the
ring
presses.
me. Just ring me.
Fact. How are we doing? Have we
Inbox
got listeners? You're in charge of all the stats. So are people listening to it? That's what I want to know.
Hey, we're on for a good Q1, and we will be getting bonuses.
Yes. What's the bonus mean? We're going to do another episode.
Yeah, I did it. Cash bonus.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really good. We're just seeing a steady increase of followers and stuff and downloads.
Yeah. And if there's, look,
way more listeners than I ever thought we'd have. Yeah. It's niche. Is G.I. Joe niche?
I think it is niche.
Feels niche.
It is niche, yeah. But I mean, if
even within the comics universe, it's niche, isn't it?
If you're listening, and thank you for that. But also, we want to make the show better. We want to make the show for you guys, the listeners.
Spread the muck.
Everyone who says on Twitter or Instagram, like the pod, that's. We love that. We love that. We get a massive kick out of that, and we want to make it better. So if we're doing the things you don't like, or you want to hear more of certain things, let us know.
That's English for stop a horse, Chief. I don't want more errors on the show.
No. Okay.
Well, we almost made a massive one with that torch one. I'm still going to research that.
Yeah, do it. I'll do it as well.
Monkey Wrench.
Monkey Wrench had I think he had like the maroon and blue, and he had a
real goon.
He had a grenade
in
belt.
The movies.
He had a grenade belt.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're so right, dude. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
I don't know why.
Let's find out if they ever had a figure for
Torch. Yeah.
For Torch.
Yeah, and we'll up.
Yeah, Torch. Didn't he have like leather waistcoat type vibe?
Possibly.
No?
Just had the big flamethrower, didn't he? So
that was his thing. Yeah.
All right. Then. Okay. Yep. So issues 28, 29, 30 next week. We'll be here same time, same G.I. Joe channel, and we will catch you then. Have a good week, everyone.
Have a great week, everyone. See you next week.
No.